And the big story this evening, it's a new parliament, a note to our democratic spirit and our Bharat's Indic heritage. Why are we saying this? Well, because you only have to view the symbolism accompanying the inauguration. One of those symbols is closely linked with our history, the Chola period to be exact. The Union Home Minister today let it be known that the Sengol or a scepter will be placed in the new house, the new parliament building. Hear it from him first up.
इसको तमिल में सेंगोल कहा जाता है और इस शब्द का अर्थ संपदा से संपन्न और ऐतिहासिक है। आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव में प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो कुछ लक्ष्य तय किए थे, उसमें एक लक्ष्य हमारी ऐतिहासिक परंपराओं का सम्मान और उसका पुनर्जागरण भी था। ये सेंगोल उसी लक्ष्य की परिपूर्ति के लिए आज मैं आपके सामने इसकी इंफॉर्मेशन को लेकर आया हूं। ये घटना जुड़ी है आजादी की क्षण के साथ। 14 अगस्त 1947 की रात को एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण ऐतिहासिक और अनोखी घटना ने आकार लिया था, जिसकी 75 साल के बाद आज देश के अधिकांश नागरिकों को जानकारी नहीं है। यह सेंगोल जो अभी आपने स्क्रीन पर देखा था, उसने हमारे इतिहास में एक अहम भूमिका निभाई है और ये सेंगोल अंग्रेजों से भारतीयों के साथ सत्ता के हस्तांतरण का एक प्रतीक बना था। इस घटना के ऐतिहासिक महत्व को जानने के बाद आप सभी को आश्चर्य होगा कि इतने सालों तक ये हमारे सामने क्यों नहीं आई। जब इसकी जानकारी प्रधानमंत्री जी को मिली, इस पर गहराई से विचार करने के बाद प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इसकी गहन जांच के आदेश दिए और फिर निर्णय लिया कि गौरवमयी प्रसंग को ध्रुव तारे के समान, परंपराओं के ध्रुव तारे के समान देश के सामने रखना चाहिए।
Well, the Sengol has become a powerful representation of India's freedom after Mountbatten asked Nehru how he would like to mark the transfer of power. Nehru, in fact, turned to Rajaji, who went on to later become the Union Home Minister. Rajaji, in fact, advised Nehru that he should choose the Sengol to mark the handover of power, which immortalizes the Tamil tradition of the high priest handing over a scepter to a new king when he comes to power. Rajaji then arranged a scepter to be made by the seer of one of India's oldest mutts for the historic moment. This staff or Sengol was presented to Nehru by a senior priest just a few minutes before the clock struck midnight in 1947.
1947 में पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी द्वारा इलाहाबाद म्यूजियम का शिलान्यास किया गया था और आगे का पोर्शन बना था। तो उनकी इच्छा थी कि उनके पास भी जो सामान हैं, जो भी उनको गिफ्ट मिले हैं, वो इलाहाबाद म्यूजियम में रखे जाए। तो उसी में लगभग 1958 से 64 के बीच में डॉक्टर एस सी काला, जो डायरेक्टर थे इलाहाबाद म्यूजियम के, उन्होंने नेहरू जी के यहाँ जाकर उसकी एक लिस्ट बनाई। उस लिस्ट में गोल्डन स्टिक भी हमारी है और वो हमारे रजिस्टर में चढ़ी हुई।
But on expected lines, a section of the opposition which has had no issue with the scepter till date has all of a sudden injected a religious angle to the controversy by calling the decision to place the scepter in the house part of the ruling government to promote Hindutva.
इसमें ये सिंगोल लगाने से इसको कम्युनलाइज किया जा रहा है और मुझे लगता है कि आने वाले वक्त में इसके अच्छे नताइज नहीं होंगे। हमारा मुल्क जो है वो आइनी तौर पे सेकुलर है और सेकुलर आइन को रखते हुए हमको किसी इंस्टीट्यूशन को कम्युनलाइज नहीं करना चाहिए और ये गलत है।
जो संसद है, जो पार्लियामेंट है, वो लोकतंत्र का मंत्र है और जिस तरह का जो एजेंडा, मैं तो कहना चाहता हूँ कि जिस तरह का जो हिडन एजेंडा, हिंदुत्व का एजेंडा जो सरकार जो पहले भी चलाती आ रही है, आज पार्लियामेंट हाउस के अंदर आप जिस लोगों जो बना के पेश करने जा रहे हो, तो मुझे बताइए कि ये सेकुलरिज्म जिसकी बुनियाद पे ये देश खड़ा है, आप उसी पे चोट करने जा रहे हो। और इस तरह के ये जो काम करके मुझे बताइए, ये देश की, मैं समझता हूँ कि सेकुलरिज्म को चोट है, सेकुलरिज्म को कमजोर करने की ताकत है। ऐसी बातें उसे ग्रेज करना चाहिए, ऐसी बातें नहीं करनी चाहिए। और अगर किसी को है अपना तो ठीक है, अपने घर पे रखें, अपनी पार्टी के दफ्तरों में चलाएं जो कोई चलाना चाहता है। लेकिन जहां तक देश की बात है कि देश सबका है, देश मेरा भी है, देश आपका भी है, देश सबका है, तो ऐसी बातों से मैं समझता हूं कि ये एक कोई पॉलिटिकल लाहा लेना चाहता है।
अभी ये देश हिंदू राष्ट्र नहीं बना है, अभी ये देश सेकुलर है। डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर का रचा हुआ संविधान इस देश में चल रहा है, लेकिन इस देश के संविधान की धज्जियां उड़ाकर हिंदुत्व करके ये लोग जो पूरे देश में नंगा नाच रहे हैं, उसी का एक ये है कि वहाँ भी एक ऐसी चीज़ लाएंगे जिससे लगेगा कि हिंदुत्व को बढ़ावा दे रहा हूँ मैं समझता हूँ कि इस देश में जो वो पार्टियाँ, वो लोग जो धर्म को, मजहब को राजनीति में लाएं, उसको बढ़ावा देवें, मैं समझता हूँ कि वो लोग समझना कि मुल्क गलत लोगों के हाथ में है।
The scepter has become just the latest flashpoint in the long list of reasons why the opposition has now decided to boycott the inauguration of the parliament. Remember, it's slated for the 28th of this month, but the government in the meanwhile has once again appealed to the opposition to reconsider their decision and take pride in India's development.
First of all, I would like to raise a fundamental question. Should free India erect a proper parliament for its needs or not? The Mughals erected Lal Killa and Jama Masjid, and the slave dynasty Abaks established, as they claim, Qutub Minar. The imperialist Britishers constructed the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the North Block and South Block, and Parliament. What we did in the last 75 years? Nothing. There is a need for new parliament.
Well, we've opened our call-in lines as well, because who better than the viewer to really put the message across on what they make of this whole idea that is now being followed by the central government, the Sengol, the scepter that's going to be placed in the new Sansad, and why this kind of a politics is now being witnessed over this issue as well. We also have BJP spokesperson Neeti Jain along with SP spokesperson IP Singh and Mr. Shyam Prasad Meka of the Congress party. But going across to our first viewer this evening, Guru Dutt is calling us from Bengaluru. Good evening, Guru Dutt.
Good evening, madam. Madam, Shanku is a best thing. When you blow Shanku, all bad events go away. That means our parliament will be safe from these attackers, terrorists, everything. Whatever Modi sir is doing is good for the nation, and we will support it. The oppositions are simply for everything they are opposing. There is no meaning in it. If Modi sir has brought, and he is the boss of the world, I request all the opposition leaders to attend at Samsad meet and make our India great. That's all, madam.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dutt, for speaking to us and putting across your message. I want to quickly then begin by asking Mr. IP Singh. Mr. IP Singh, you heard it from one of the viewers as well. A lot of viewers calling us, but before I take in a word from them, the Union Home Minister said this is a symbol that governance should be just as per policies and on the path of duty. This will send a message to the public and the elected representatives. So the placing of the Sengol in the parliament is indicative of the same feeling that Jawaharlal Nehru felt on August 14, 1947. तो ये हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात कहाँ से आ गई सर?
सवाल ये है कि देश बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर के दिए हुए संविधान से चल रहा है, तो संविधान का सम्मान सबको करना चाहिए। चूंकि सेंगोल की बात ही आई है, मुझे चूंकि हिस्ट्री पर मैं बेहतर समझता हूं कि प्रधानमंत्री जी भी हिस्ट्री पर बैठ जाएं और गृह मंत्री, दोनों से डिबेट के लिए मैं तैयार हूं। उनसे बेहतर जो भारतीय संस्कृति, परंपरा और संस्कार है, उनसे बेहतर मैं खुद समझता हूं। दूसरे की बात छोड़ दीजिए, अन्य दलों का या समाजवादी पार्टी का छोड़ दीजिए, ये राजनीति से प्रभावित है। आप सोचिए, पेट्रोल इस देश में 100 रुपए लीटर बिक रहा है। इस देश में जो 350 रुपए का गैस सिलेंडर था, वो 1200
तब भी क्या राजनीति से प्रभावित था? जब जवाहरलाल नेहरू को पहली बार मिला था 1947 में, कहां की बात है सर ये? इनफैक्ट हमें तो ये सवाल पूछना चाहिए, एंड आई शुड इनफैक्ट पुट दैट क्वेश्चन टू मिस्टर मेका as to why this scepter, sir, was not in the parliament already all these years?
जो ओल्ड मॉन्यूमेंट्स है उन्हें डिमोलिश करिए। ओल्ड मॉन्यूमेंट्स जिस तरह से रविशंकर जी उसको प्रेज कर रहे थे, उसकी आलोचना कर रहे थे, मैं ये कहता हूं कि अगर उनको इतनी ज्यादा तकलीफ है कि ओल्ड मॉन्यूमेंट्स या प्रीवियसली इस देश में बने, उन्हें डिमोलिश कर दीजिए, हटाइए लाल किले को, हटाइए पुराना किला को,
आप मुद्दे पे रहिए और मुद्दे की बात करिए। यहाँ पे सेंगोल की बात हो रही है, सेप्टर की बात हो रही है, जो आज गृह मंत्री ने कहा कि उनको भी काफी लेट आके पता चला। उन्होंने जब ये प्रधानमंत्री के सामने रखा और अप्रूवल आया इन्वेस्टिगेशन के बाद, तब जाके ये निर्णय लिया गया है। तो ऐसे बयानबाजी करने से पहले सर, लेट्स स्टिक टू द फैक्ट्स। बट बिफोर आई टेक इट अक्रॉस टू मिस्टर मेका as well, Mr. IP Singh ji, we have a lot of callers calling in. Our viewers want to express their point of view. So let me go across to Radhika, who's calling us from Bengaluru. Good evening, Radhika.
Yes, the opposition is opposing everything for the sake of opposing. They do not want any creative work or constructive work to happen. And they want to please a section of the community or the people just to show that they are with them and nothing else. But do they know anything about Hinduism? Do they know anything about them? No, it is only appeasement.
Okay, this is only appeasement. I want to take that across to Mr. Meka as well. But before that, quickly taking in a word from Anand, calling us from Belgavi. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, madam. Madam, what do these opposition parties want? Do they want the flags of China and Pakistan in parliament? I mean, they will go to any lengths to oppose Mr. Modi. I mean, they are opposing only for the sake of opposition. Do they know the symbolism of this Sengol? They are ignoramuses, and they will just oppose for opposing sake. That's all, madam.
Okay, just opposing for the sake of opposition, be opposing everything under the sky which is related to the construction of the new Sansad. Mr. Meka, would you want to come in? Because today the government has made a sincere effort to say, please, let's leave all this aside. Let's not get into these petty issues. Let's come together and celebrate the true development of our country.
Hello?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, see, first of all, this is all unnecessary talk about Hindutva, secularism, appeasement. Where are all these things coming from? Simple thing is, the Sengol was used as a symbol of power transfer in 1947 because at that time we are not yet the republic. Okay, after that it was there in the museum, which is its right place. Now we don't need to bring about the symbols of Rajas and Rajwadas in the Democratic Republic of India. That's a simple thing. We don't need to spend hours on debating this. Rather than we should focus on unemployment,
but why does it come down to the BJP going ahead with its Hindutva agenda, the BJP trying to give this a communal spin? How do we get into that narrative is my problem. But before that, we have our callers calling us this evening, viewers dialing in. Subramaniam is calling us from Chennai. Good evening, sir.
No, I find this whole narrative absolutely absurd by the opposition party here. Sengol is very much Indian, and what is wrong in having it? These guys want to have something which is from the Arab world, which was practiced in 1400, and they are fine about it, and they call it secular. Anything which is Indian, these guys want to oppose. The problem is these guys don't have a proper... I mean, these guys are not fighting for the right causes. These guys just have to oppose for the sake of it.
Okay.
I mean, it's best to ignore these guys and not to get them to the TV show.
Okay, best to ignore any such sentiment that goes against our values, and we should perhaps take pride in these symbols. Before going across to Mr. Meka and Mr. IP Singh, how would you want to come in? Because the BJP, of course, has been saying, Niti Jain, that, you know, this is uncalled for controversy, one after the other. You talk about the national emblem atop the parliament building, you talk about the idea of construction, the funding that went into it, and now they have a problem with the Senegal as well.
देखिए, आप संसद में सेंगोल या जो कुछ
आईपी सिंह जी, मैं आपके पास आ रही हूँ. नीति जैन को बोलने का मौका देते हैं सर. नीति जैन.
Opposition today is simply indulging in politics of no agenda. They are bereft of any issues, which is why they will come out and oppose just about anything that the government is saying. It is highly hilarious that these people would come out and say that this Sengol is about Hindutva or about anything else except that this was a symbol of independence for this country. It was Lord Mountbatten who had asked that what is going to symbolize as an Indian culture to mark this event, and this is what came up. The Congress spokesperson just said that this was kept in the museum. Sir, it was kept as a walking stick. That is the placard in front of it, the walking stick gifted to Jawaharlal Nehru. And that is what the symbol of independence meant to you. If you're going to put this as a golden walking stick gifted to Jawaharlal Nehru, is that what it is? And I think you asked a very pertinent question. The only important question to ask is, why was this not in the parliament so far? Was the independence symbolism meant so low to you that you would not even identify it? For 75 years, you have been saying Mughals hamari history hai, Tipu Sultan hamari history hai, lekin ye independence hamari history nahi hai.
And why are we not taking pride in our history today, Niti? You know, like the Home Minister detailed that the priest first presented the scepter to the Viceroy, the Lord Mountbatten. Then he took it back, purified it with holy water before taking it in a procession to Nehru's residence. There he was handed the scepter as the priest recited a song by a 7th century Tamil saint. Now all of this is completely being ignored by the opposition today, and they want to jump to these meaningless conclusions and want to give a communal spin to everything under the roof. IP Singh ji.
For 75 years, the citizens of this country did not know that there was an official symbol that was like a passing on of the baton to the independent India. Nobody knew about this. Why?
Okay.
Why was this missing from our history?
Why was it missing?
And
Mr. Mecca, it should have been in the parliament by now. Why did no one know about it? Why is it that upon the findings, there had to be an investigation that had to be carried out? The Prime Minister had to be told that, sir, this is what had happened back in 1947. And he thought it important enough to now include it in the new parliament building. And even then we want to play unnecessary politics over it. Before I go across to IP Singh ji. Mr. Mecca.
Let me be very clear. This is not about communalization, or this is not about Indian heritage or anything. Don't give that spin.
Okay.
The only point is, it is about the feudal, the Raja culture. We don't want that. We are a republic. We don't need a spectre of somebody to signify the authority.
Well, I'm sure Pandit Nehru didn't quite agree to you, is why he decided to go ahead with this particular ritual and in the most respectful way, sir. So let's not demean our history and where we're coming from as well. That's my honest request. But we have a lot of viewers calling in, so let's quickly take in a word from them. We have Raj Pillai calling us from Kochi. Good evening, sir. What's your opinion?
See, good evening. I think first and foremost, let me get few facts right. Now, the word Sengol, actually, it originates from the word Semai, which refers to excellence. And this was a practice during one of the most glorious kingdom India had, which was the Soul. It is not, we are not talking about some feudal kings here. We are talking about the Chola dynasty, which was ruling right from Indonesia up to, Hindu Kush. So, and this has a history because this denotes the transfer of power. And because Radhakrishnan, Nehru accepted it on the advice of Viceroy. I mean, I fail to understand all these people from various parties. They come and talk on the TV channels as if the audience are just fools. I mean, you oppose everything. You oppose the king. I mean, you oppose the tiger when it was on the top, the lion, that it doesn't look nice, its tooth are bad. Then
so then the question, sir, then the question that needs to be asked is this just an excuse? They don't want to attend the inaugural ceremony, the inauguration ceremony. Perhaps finding one excuse after another is going to be the key. That is the only question that comes to one's mind. But thank you, sir, for calling us this evening. We also have Chetra calling us from Bengaluru. Good evening, Chetra.
Hello. I think, see, these people are scared because all over the world, the Indians, especially Hindu culture, is increasing. So they want to destroy the Hindu culture and heritage in these days. So they just, see, because of these kinds of people only, the British and Mughals have occupied the India, and
see, they have destroyed so many temples and everything. They will not talk. See, that person, he says, okay, destroy everything, demolish everything the previous government has built. Okay, no, if you don't have the capability to build anything new or to have the culture or the basic manners, you should keep quiet. Okay, you don't have any...
And what's most bizarre, ma'am, in all of this is, how is it that the Sengol becomes communal when it was okay when it was presented to the then Prime Minister Nehru? It's quite bizarre what's playing out, but thank you for sharing your views. We also have Debashish calling us from Houston. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. I have a very simple question. I mean, why is the opposition always interested in demeaning the culture of India? And why is the Indian history related to after independence? We have got thousands of year old history. And why is the opposition just interested in demeaning it?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir, for speaking to us. You know, it's very interesting that the Indian Air Force logo, the Government of India logo, there are several such symbols that we continue to live by, swear by, which speak of Hindu ethos. Why are we now after the Sengol? Given that this is a new discovery, perhaps today everyone must get together and take pride in it. But this also we choose to politicize. Most unfortunate. Gentlemen, thank you for patiently waiting with us while we took in a view from our viewers calling in this evening. Thank you, Niti Jain.